3. Good morning, guys and gals. How are y'all doing today? So we're gonna get things started here. Just a second. I'm a little all over the place right now. So you have a bunch of stuff back there. We'll talk about that later. I have something going on over here, and yeah, there's just a few things going on. So it's been a busy 2 weeks. Or a busy week, and yeah, we're about ready to get things going here. So let's do the chat, even though I might abandon using the chat on the screen at some point. I'm not sure. All right, chat is live. Yeah, let's get this shared around to all the socials, and no, I don't want that. I don't want to know that one. Book of Faces. Okay, and we're shared around. That's good. I have a bunch of friends who have their birthdays today. So happy birthday to Mary Noon, Catherine Pfister, Julius Rivero, and Eddie Antonio. Happy birthday, guys. Okay, so we've got a few chats. Caleb and Alan. Good morning, guys. How are we doing today? So, yeah, we got a lot going on. I have 2 of my 4 mechanized hands already here and running. You can see the laser right there. Caleb just woke up. Oh, good morning, Jill. Caleb just woke up, so it's just started. How's your morning going? My morning is going fantastic. Little man's doing his own little thing out there, and I have a lot going on. I actually have my 3D printer running here this morning. Can I? Not really, but we're just kind of taking a little tour real quick. So I got this guy running, and then I have my laser back here. So like I said, I have 2 of the 4 machines I want to get for production. Okay. So what I want to my end goal is to have a 3D printer, a laser cutter, a clicker machine, a clicker press, which I guess that's not automated, but it's close enough that it'll take doing my bread and butter things like cutting out wallets and keychains and stuff a cinch. And my a CNC for the shop. So 3 of those 4 automated machines will live here in the office, and the other one will be in the shop. The idea is I can have things going on a regular basis. The first one I got running was actually the 3D printer, so I can start making models of things to cast. I need to make a shroud, a fume shroud for the laser cutter, especially because it puts off a lot of smoke, especially if I'm going to be cutting leather and stuff on it. Really needs to have some way to get the smoke, because that smells awful. It's a mixture of burning hair and burning flesh. Not pleasant. Not like steak flesh, like you just touched a stove and you're crispy flesh. So I'm just playing with this now. I actually have a guy coming over. Alan sent you pics of my 2 newest made pieces. Good old wooden spoon. Look at that guy. That's what? So that's a foot right there. 14, 16 inches long. And that is a nice paddle. That's made out of the that walnut, right? That is. Both look like they're walnut. Gorgeous. Very well done. And Caleb, I burned my hair over a fire yesterday. I stunk like fire, and burned hair the whole day. Yeah. So, I have a question for you guys about 16 both-eared black walnut. Very nice. Do you guys like seeing the chat displayed, or do you prefer to have a larger screen of me? I got into a bit of an argument with Mick the other day that I'm wasting. Hey Ken, how's it going, man? I actually got into a bit of an argument with the wife the other day about whether seeing the chat displayed on the screen or not. And so I think it's good to see it, but if you guys don't, prefer a bigger screen of me and no chat or anything else, we'll keep it simple. Things are going great, Ken. I have the 3D printer running here now. I'm actually making a slug. Let's see. And then my laser cutter over there. So things are going pretty good, actually. How about for yourself there, Ken? I saw you did a pour of the... Do we really need to talk to you? Oh, lol, JK, keep the chat, though. All right, we'll pop it over the chat screen. Seems nice to me, honestly, if you would feel best having a bigger screen. Well, here's the thing, guys. I want to do what you guys think is best. Because... for me personally, it doesn't matter either way. It's what you guys want. So she brought that to my attention, and she thought it wasn't a good idea. I was spending too much time trying to get it right. It shrinks my face down. So, I can see the merit in her argument. However, she's not my regular watcher. But yeah, so I just got the slug going now. I have a guy coming over to train me on how to use the 3D printer today, so I can get that. Let's do a vote. I just might. A vote wouldn't be a bad idea, but I need to build the fume hood for that before I start using that on a regular basis, and I'm trying to figure out the software on it. I actually have a guy coming to train me on that once I get the swords delivered. He's the I got that off the guy who I'm making the swords for as part of the deal. Oh, that's bitter. Whew. I'm switching back to coffee. So I'm not sure how to do a vote in the chat. Let me see. Can I do a vote? Start a poll. Awesome. I can do a thing. If going full screen, the chat is nice, but smaller screen, the chat text is blurry and takes up half the screen. You're right, it does. Okay, and there's a poll. We're going to let this go for the thing, and I think I'm going to run this on a few videos going forward in the future, just to get kind of an accurate count just on how people, go back and forth.
Peppa Pig. I don't want Peppa Pig. I don't want Peppa Pig.
Okay. Well, that's what's displayed. That's for me. Do you want half? Alan was right, I think. And he very well could be. Connor. Now, what did I say? If you behave yourself while I'm doing my live stream, we're going to go get coffee and donuts. Go play with your Play-Doh. Alright, it's not coming up when I click it. Did my vote come through? I have no sitting at 100%. So, I guess the chat screen is delayed by a moment or two. But yeah, right now I have 100% at no. So, yeah. So, anyways, since I have two of my mechanical helpers here, my automatic helpers, what I think we're going to do is run a thing over on Patreon. It did now. All right, good. To name them. So what I'm thinking is all of my active
We run for buses, leave.
Mm-hmm. All of my active patrons will get a say in, maybe if you're doing a project on the stream, drop the chat, but conversation and update streams, keep it. Maybe if you're doing a project on the stream, drop the chat. That makes sense. But conversation and update streams, keep it. Okay, yeah. I like that, because if I'm showing you guys something, I want it, that's the focus. So, full screen display. But if we're just sitting here and I'm just BSing with you guys like I am now, I think having the chat is kind of nice. And I think that's what I've been doing is when I'm going over to this table here and I'm using my phone as the mobile camera, I get rid of the chat because you still have the chat on your device and you can see what people are saying and this, that, and the other. So it's a bit of a variable thing. But like I was saying, I think I'm going to do a name my machine thing. And I think I might put like googly eyes on them, or maybe I'll even make like little face covers. So it looks like little guys, and I'll put googly eyes in the things. so we can get these named and you know, have a conversation. Because saying the 3D printer, the 3D printer, the 3D printer, instead of saying, you know, God damn it, Carl messed up again. I think that'd be kind of funny. Give them names. I'm going to, but I'm going to give that to my my patrons. You know, turn that over to my patrons, and I'll probably start that. Connor, go watch Peppa Pig or play with your Play-Doh. I'll probably run that for the length of the rest of November and December. So anyone who joins my Patreon, which is patreon.com/Knightsmith, gets a vote or gets to submit a name. And I think the first live stream of the year, we will choose names for them based on what Patreon has to say. I'm getting half a Nutri-Grain bar because someone had to have the other half. But yeah, I think having them named would be really just useful, but also having, like, you know, faces on them, so it's like, I don't know. I like to anthropomorphize everything I can, if it's a thing that I can do. And maybe we can even make that a whole project of you know, getting things together and you know, making faces for them, and you know, make that a whole project video, and have, you know, kind of have some fun with it. Maybe I could have you guys submit like sketches or pictures or something similar, and we could try and work on that and get that fit to this guy, and you know, have some fun with it. Because the suit of armor at the shop is named Carl, and Carl does everything wrong. And if you don't know what that's in reference to, that's kind of like a if you ever see military memes, just look up "God damn it, Carl," and you'll understand in a heartbeat exactly why I named him Carl. But so I have Carl, who works with me. He stands out back and guards the backyard, make sure no crows come around. But then I have the 3D printer, the laser cutter. I'm gonna have my clicker press. I'm gonna have my CNC at the shop. So I'm gonna need names for all these guys. I'm gonna need faces for all of them. And maybe the faces will be 3D printed. Maybe the faces will be laser cut. Maybe it'll be something that's 3D printed and then cast out of like aluminum. And then like it has like an aluminum plate on it. Something. Or maybe I could even do I could 3D print a mold, put clay into it, then take it to the shop and fire that clay. I don't know. I'm just blathering. What I'm saying is there's a million different ways we can go about this. And I'm going to need really your help in what did that helmet turn out to be? Oh, actually forgot about that. So there's a front and a back. I'm assuming somewhere there's a cap and a brim as well. But here we go. Oop. Yeah, the front and back half printed separate because it's too big to print the whole thing on the. At least I think so. Yeah, it's too big to print it. Do a monolithic print. But yeah. Kind of cool. They got it back too. So I'm going to need to clean these up a little bit and glue them together. this one here has the front piece has a little void in it for something. I'm assuming that's for putting putting a brim on it, because it looks kind of like medievally, like faux medieval, with all these different raised sections. So I'm assuming it's like, this is just in my head, and maybe Alan, you could give me a little bit more insight here, but it seems like it would be a like a hardened fabric, like a lamelier or leather for this lowest piece, and then maybe steel for the second layer, just so you have a reinforced brow, and then this piece here would be like brass or something as a detail plate, and then a steel brim. And same thing on the back here, so this would be like leather or lamelier, and then your steel reinforcement piece, and then your steel brim. But each of these pieces took like 12-ish hours to print. This slug here has been printing for 26 hours, and we're at 71%. Connor, no. Here, go take this. Go play with this. There's 2 pieces. Let's do it like this. Go. He's angry. But yeah, so that was the helmet that I ended up printing out. I want to try and find a way to reclaim the filament. I'm sure if I get like a grinder and a hot extruder, I can grind up used projects or whatever, clean them off really good, grind them up, re-extrude them once I get enough. Because I think it's all, I need to make sure, but I think it's all PLA or PVA. I think. Buddy, don't go in there. I think it's all PLA. So and I really don't care about what the colors are, because for the most part I'm not producing finished pieces. I'm producing a lot of sacrificial parts, or the printer's going to be producing sacrificial parts or tools for me to use personally, like the new fume hood, a fume hood for the thing, different jigs and stuff for my my foil press here, things like that. Maybe even some helmet holders, so I can make like a wall of helmets or something, because I have a bunch of helmets and masks, and I can't remember who did it. It was one of the nerdier guys on YouTube, but they made out a really cool helmet stand, which kind of, it sits on the wall almost like a hand, and it comes out and grabs the back of the helmet, like the base of the helmet where the nape is. And since the face is usually a little bit longer than the back, it kind of hides the whole contraption. I think it was a vertical piece, and then the back piece was like almost like a weighted cam, So as the helmet sat into it, it kind of brought the back in and kind of gripped it. I don't know. I need to go back and look at the video. But I figure I could print those. And then mount those to the wall, and then like, because I have a German sallet I made, I have a great helm. Those both ones are both, solid steel. The great helm is 14 gauge stainless. The sallet is 16 gauge mild, but there's a lot of articulations and stuff, so that's a pretty hefty helmet. Then I have two paintball masks, one paintball helmet, two paintball helmets. One is steel, one is something else, plastic. I'm going to make steel parts for it, so that's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 helmets. Then I have that one I printed. I have another mask over there. So I have a lot of things I need to, kind of get up and off the ground and kind of display, both here and at the shop. What else? Oh, I also have a very special, very high-end project that I've been working on for the last 12 years, 16 years, of a fully functional Spartan helmet. I have all the sketches and everything worked out. It's a super bespoke project. And I have most of the pieces picked out, but that's going to be something I want up out of the way and displayed. But increased vision, protection from flashbangs, protection from noise, as well as advanced hearing, 2 different communication arrays. I don't think I'm going to have a heads-up display. It'll have lights, turn on, turn off lights. It'll have a fog-resistant visor. It'll have air purification system. So there's a lot going into it, and that's one of my biggest projects. Is a very long-term project because it's very difficult to get everything in, and have multiple system redundancies and blah 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 blah. But that's still in the very, very early stages, and I might have 1 or 2 buyers for them once I get them done. But like I said, that's a very long-term, very slow project, and it's meant for it's meant to be cool, but it actually has practical applications if if things kind of go pear-shaped on you. You can get this helmet on, if there's a riot or something, or potentially a fire, like a house fire. You can throw this helmet on, and it'll actually filter the smoke, and you'll be able to hear significantly better. Or if there's a riot or whatever, and you need to be able to keep yourself safe and get out of danger, it'll protect you from flashbangs and whatever. You can hear people coming, but if there's like a gunshot or something, it'll cut the audio for a second and then bring it back so it doesn't impede your hearing. Things like that. But that is a very long-term project. It's very slow, very arduous to get that up and running. So it's not really a life-saving helmet like you would think of, but it is still a piece of safety gear. But I got that guy coming. I also have a breathing mask specifically for, like a dust mask specifically for guys with beards. I know I did a bunch. Do I have them here? Yeah. I have my COVID masks for guys with beards. And this actually really came in handy when my ceiling fell down. Comes around to the back. Now this one needs to get cleaned, and it's kind of torn up. But so it'd be kind of something like that, but something for actually woodworking. So it'd be a bit of a more hefty material, probably with, and this is where the 3D printer comes in, with a solid face on the sides and around the nose and mouth, so I can have the air out in front of the mouth, and then have an attachment point for a filter on one of the two sides, and have it come down and encompass the beard around the neck. Because one thing I found through doing years of woodworking and through COVID is that guys with beards like me, it kind of looks like a 1960s Victoria's Secret model, panty model. So, and it doesn't, you don't get a seal around a beard. So if I can get that, and I can get that worked out and patented, it's going to be a very good side income to keep Knightsmith rolling on a good clip. For all three of those, actually. So there's a lot to do, and I don't mind talking about that in the very most general sense that I am. He loves playing with that camera mount. I don't know why, but he does. Because the specifics are where the patent has to be. 26 hours, and I'm only at 72% on that. That is ridiculous. But so it's a lot of very general information. So the specifics are going to be where the patent's going to be, but I'm going to have those, displayed as well, because I'm proud of a lot of the things I've made. And I hate to see them get kicked around and broken and destroyed. So I think it'd be nice to display some of the things. Maybe, have some helmets over there, have them some over there. Don't break that. You got to be careful. You're gonna break this side over here. So just be careful, okay, buddy? So yeah, it's very cool seeing all these things start to interlace and come together. And actually, even on that Spartan helmet, I might be able to 3D print a lot of the things, just to prototype it. And once I get, if I have a bilateral symmetry, I can print one side and then just in the software reverse it or flip it, invert it, whatever you want to, however it's termed, and then it'll print the other side, and then it's just a matter of fitting pieces together. Because that helmet's not meant to stop a bullet or anything; it's meant to keep you aware and to keep your situational awareness intact. And if I can get that prototyped nice and easily on my thing, then I have all the files and I have a working prototype. I can take that and get it patented and blah 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 blah. Instead of slowly and painstakingly making one out of sheet metal, one piece at a time, using ferrofluid or marking fluid to lay it out all on 22 gauge, scratch everything, and then blah 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 blah. Which is what I've been doing thus far. I've been using, 10 years ago, I was using Sharpie to scribble on the sheet of steel, and then using a scribe to mark everything out and lay everything out. Now I've upgraded to marking fluid, which I'm using Dykem Blue, which, if you have to lay anything out, I think they have 2 colors now. For the longest time, it's always just blue. Definitely use Dykem Blue, because it gives you, especially over Sharpie, where things are kind of, you have a bit of a color gradient with a Sharpie. I've also used spray paint in the past. Spray paint chips a little bit, so you don't get a perfectly straight line, and the Sharpie, you get a color gradient with the Dykem, the marking fluid. Perfect lines, very fine lines, depending on your scribe. You get super fine lines and everything else. Okay, so we have a poll here, and the poll is saying 75% to get rid of the chat. So I'm going to go to the larger screen and yeah, we'll do that. Yay. So yeah, there's a lot of things that are coming down the pipeline now. And I think especially for the Spartan helmet, if it is that big and there's that many people interested in it, in order to up the safety value, but also keep the costs relatively low for what it is. It's basically a bespoke helmet. I might even be able to get myself a metal printer, a metal 3D printer. Which, if I can get that, that would be amazing. And get it made out of aluminum, I think. So as opposed to having it printed out of PLA plastic, but I think plastic is the way to go for the first one. And then once I get good with my 3D modeling software, I'll start being able to bulk out the pieces a little bit. He's just sitting down there, just doing his thing. So yeah, I think I'm going to go over on my Patreon today and put that question to everybody. I'm also going to I'm telling you guys now, so you have the first thought. But even my $1 tier patrons will have access. And I'm also going to, this week, I'm going to start scanning my patterns. So everything that's not proprietary. So like my wallet won't be on there. But my, like the Sporon will be. But like the Sporon pattern will be up on my Patreon. Oh, by the way, speaking of, Jill, when you get a minute, send me a message. We have something to talk about. But yeah, I'm gonna start putting my patterns up on Patreon as well. What are you doing? You're playing with the lights? Okay. But yeah, all my patterns I'll be putting up on Patreon. All of my non-proprietary patterns. Let's put it that way. Hey, don't throw those. You'll break them. Don't hit them either. You will go in timeout. Understand? Good. Be nice to our things. We want to keep them nice. Got it? Good. Yeah, let's just get bored and break shit. Anyways. But yeah, so all those patterns will be for the patterns and the poll, or I don't know sure what I'm gonna do for it, but the contest, I guess, to name my printer and engraver will be up on my Patreon, open to all tiers of my Patreon. So $1 a month, you get on there, you get these patterns, you get all this. That was my phone. I got a message. Okay, then it was the neighbors. He gets cranky when I'm doing this and not paying attention to him. And I get it. He just wants to play. I just want to play. Because I'm really like 5 years old at heart. But can't play all the time, unfortunately. But I'm thinking about doing that. And then my higher level patrons will get more patterns and more proprietary stuff. Maybe I'll even do old designs, old custom designs and stuff. How old is he now? He is 3 years old. So, I mean, I get it that he just wants to play and have fun. I do too. And for the most part, he's very well behaved. He got real cranky last night. Oh, it was hilarious. He has a busted lip this morning. He was laying on... We were over at my parents' house, and he was done. So he was just laying face down on the ground. And I said, all right, it's time to get going, buddy. He looked up and then smashed his face onto the oak floor. I'm like... Mouth is all bloody and stuff. Like, dude... I hope we don't get pulled over on the way home. Otherwise, CPS is going to get called and it's going to get bad. So, good news is I will be, sucks for him, but he learned. Maybe he learned? I don't know. I remember when he was younger, when he'd get really, really mad, he would just start hitting his head off things, usually off the floor. Our old apartment was all like carpeted and stuff, and even the kitchen area was like padded, that fake floor. What is it called? It had some padding underneath, but it was whatever. So he never really had a super hard surface. So we take him over to my parents' house one day, and their kitchen's all tiled. He gets mad, throws himself to the ground. This is when he was like a year and a half old. And just one time, smashed his face on the tile. Never did it again. Until last night. But it only took him one good hit to say, you know, maybe this is what I want to do. So, he's a quick learner. I'll give him that. Oh boy. Love making things happen. So we're rounding up on the hour. So what are you guys doing this week? You know, what are your plans? Do you have any projects that you have going on, or you know, do you have any plans? I know, geez, Thursday's Thanksgiving. I know everyone who's in the chat right now is American, so Thursday's Thanksgiving. Do you guys have any plans? Are you going to family or just staying home? I don't know what I'm doing. I have like 16 different plans that are going out. My neck has been sore for like 3 weeks, and it is driving me up a wall. I think I need a new pillow or something. I got a really nice, expensive pillow, and for a while it worked like a charm. I don't know what's going on. See, Caleb, I might be going to volunteer at this Thanksgiving dinner thing. My mom and her friends put together a lot of food that we'll be giving out today if I go. Dude, that is awesome. That is really good. Good for you and good for your mom. How is she, by the way? I haven't seen hide nor hair of her in like 8 months to a year. Oof. Now he's moving my chair back and forth. Also, if you have any recommendations for fume extractors or smoke extractors with a fairly small nozzle, I would definitely appreciate it, because I found a few online. They're like $70-$80. I don't know if I'm comfortable with that, or if I'm just gonna build something custom, like take a fan. I found a few really cool grills for fans on here, and I might be able to just build a box. I'm thinking like a Mandalorian type theme maybe, and put a regular filter on one side and a charcoal filter on the other with a fan in between, and have it suck it in and out. Just a thought. And she's hanging in there, doing the best she can, especially with all the prices going up. Yeah, stuff is getting expensive. It's killing me. So, yeah, the prices of stuff, especially of gas, is absolutely killing me right now. But yeah, things are just getting expensive. No, we're not going to hit things with that. That's not for hitting. That's a pipe stem I need to finish. Thank you. That was a very good decision. I am starving. But yeah, I'm very excited to get this room in order and to get all of the stuff off the ground, put away. I'm so happy that things are finally starting to come together in this room. Caleb, I'm cooking a potato and bell pepper omelet. Ooh, that sounds good. I am going to have a sausage, egg, and cheese in a croissant and a nice large iced coffee. Maybe a donut or two as well. It's basically home fries and eggs. One thing and this was my normal breakfast when I went to Johnston College. So they would take an egg, have it scrambled. One egg, two eggs. I think it was two eggs. And they would pour it out on the griddle, so it would form a nice wide patty, super thin. They would take that, throw it on our tortilla, and then in the center of the tortilla they'd put cheese and like grated hash brown and sausage, hot sauce, and I think just a little bit of mayonnaise, and roll that up into a burrito. Oh my God, I would have that I had that almost every day for 2 years for breakfast. Best breakfast I've ever had. It was fantastic. I loved it. I also like that breakfast sandwich. I convinced one or two people on here to actually make it. And you take two slices of bread, bacon, cheese, and egg. And you beat the egg, and you get the frying pan really nice and hot. Has to be a hot frying pan. So you dump the egg in there so it fans out into a big thing, and you put the bread on there immediately. And once the egg is mostly cooked, you flip the whole thing over, hopefully without breaking the egg. Then you throw on your slice of cheese on either side, and then a couple strips of bacon, and you fold the remainder of the egg in, and then fold the sandwich in on itself, and toast the outside. And it is just beautifully delicious. I am really thinking a lot about food right now. That half a Nutri-Grain bar just didn't quite hit the spot. So today, speaking of food, for the guy that's coming over to train me on the 3D printer, because right now these are just preloaded files. He's going to train me on where to get files, how to use the cutter program, how to import everything from the computer to the printer, so I can start doing my own thing. So I can do the dust shroud, and I think I'm going to make a few ear savers, and when I get to doing the masks and the helmets, it'll be a nice easy transition for me. Because I really do need a good dust mask for the shop, especially some of the things like that piece of art that I did the other day, which took a huge chunk out of my finger. That carving disc, for that wood carving disc, that took a really big chunk out of my knuckle. It threw up a ton of dust, and I was coughing and choking the entire time. If I'm going to be doing stuff like that, and even if I'm just going to be doing a lot of grinding with the blacksmithing and stuff, because a lot of people really like that really nice finish. I prefer hammer finish because I'm lazy, and I just like my tools to be functional. I'm going to need a dust mask. The thing I have going in the air purifier I have running in the shop is great for ambient stuff and to take those fine particulates out of the air. But for when I'm in the thick of it, I really need something. And I've found that since I don't get a good seal anyways, I just generally don't wear a dust mask. And it's really not great for the lungs, you know? So I really need to get something going. Yeah, I really need to get something going there so I can have a better quality of life since I'm doing this full time now. Because good God, I can make a mess quickly. Does my elbow need a crack? Yes? No? No? Yes? I don't know. With these fluctuating temperatures, I am just dying. My body is in full revolt against me. My nasal passages just kind of clog up in a moment. My joints all hate me. Y'all, don't get old. And if you're gonna get old, don't abuse your body when you're young. All my joints hate me. All of them. It's so cool watching that go. I know I'm supposed to be paying attention to you guys and talking and stuff, but just watching just a thing be made from nothing automatically, it's pretty damn cool. Like, that's been going for the last 26 and a half hours. So I've just been in here, popping my head in here every now and then, taking a look. So it's so cool watching things just appear. It's like, to me, it's magic. How all these machines work is magic. Yeah. I'm sure at a certain point I'm just going to get angry with them and just whatever. I'm going to upgrade and stuff once I get into the nitty gritty and know how things work. It really is magic to me. How these things just work. How they just operate. So cool. Anyways. Gonna be putting those things up on Patreon sometime this week. I'll probably do it tonight or tomorrow. I'll start scanning my files so I can get those up there. Because all my patterns they're physical patterns. So I need to see, I need to be able, especially if I'm going to be getting a clicker die in the future, I need to be able to scan these in, get hard measurements on them, and get computer files so I could throw them on the laser, or I can throw them to a die maker so I can get the dies made. But I kind of think, on the wallet here, if I can get this cut with a laser, and then I can have like a decal or something going across the front of it, burned in very lightly, or I can take how Louis Vuitton has kind of like that repeating pattern going down the whole thing. I'm pretty sure in the settings I can do like a dual setting, one of engrave and one of cut, so I can engrave the whole piece and then go back and cut it out. So very light burn, maybe 20% power, just to get a very light thing on there, and then go back full speed, nice and slow, and cut the pieces out. That would be cool. But one thing at a time, one piece at a time, right? But once I get this figured out and everything dialed in, we're gonna be off to the races, guys. Because these guys are gonna be making me money, passively. While I'm over here doing leather work, or while I'm at the shop, I just throw something in, and just turn everything on, let it go, run all day. When I get to the shop, fire up the, now this is 6 months in the future, fire up the CNC, have that making me money while I'm sitting there, you know, doing the bigger things, doing the furniture pieces, whatever. But I have a lot planned, and I think we're going to be able to do a lot coming here very shortly, very soon. Especially with like cutting boards and stuff, having everything that I can, so I can do like custom engraving, custom names and stuff onto your cutting boards and everything else. I think it'll be really cool. And if I get that clicker die, I might even have get custom tooling made. I know Quarter Leather, if you guys care enough to go over watch his videos, he has a whole thing on how to make money and how to design your impressions and your clicker dies in a way that everything goes really smoothly, really quickly. It's only like a 3-step thing, and you can turn 30 cents into $2 like every 5 seconds. So, you know, it's just one of those things that, like, it's really enticing, but it's also kind of scary. All right, see you, Ken. Oh, geez, we're already past time. All right, guys. Well, like I said, I'm doing that thing on Patreon, so look for that, and I will be putting a link onto the Facebook group just to try and get as many people interested. And I'll be doing that same thing on TikTok. I'll be talking about that over there, so we can get these guys named, get googly eyes on them, get faces on them. Yeah, and just start getting things, you know, running. And yeah, so today was a big day. A lot to talk. We talked about a lot. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you. And thank you for helping me make this world better, one kerf at a time. I'll see you next week. Have a good holiday, guys.